In the section that I read last week, he's just finished telling us that he pursued pleasure with all his might and all his resources, and none of it satisfied. In fact, it left him even emptier. So he switches gears. He said, well, that didn't work. Let me try something else. Realizing that the relentless pursuit of pleasure was foolish, he decides to pursue wisdom, which sounds like a good thing. Sounds like a wise thing to do. You've experienced the foolishness of hedonism, of pursuing pleasure at all costs. And so now you wisely switch gears and you say, I think the route is to pursue wisdom. Perhaps if he could figure out how to navigate life and avoid disaster, he would find happiness. I mean, we all know that wisdom does provide a measure of stability in this life. In fact, the whole book of Proverbs in the Bible encourages us to pray for wisdom, to pursue wisdom, to be wise in our ways. In the Bible, wisdom is highly regarded, highly regarded. So what he pursues here seems to be a good thing. But here he says that he discovered that the way of wisdom as an ultimate savior is as bankrupt as the way of pleasure. Proverbs comes right before Ecclesiastes, a book that's, like I said, all about wisdom, the pursuit of wisdom, the way of wisdom. It describes the fool in comparison to the wise man and says, go the route of the wise man. And yet here, at the beginning, basically, of Ecclesiastes chapter 2, he's saying wisdom was a dead end for me. He begins in verse 13 by acknowledging his pursuit of wisdom and then concludes at the end that it was all a waste of time, all of it. In verse 15, he says that no amount of wisdom can ultimately fix what's wrong. Wisdom cannot fix brokenness. Wisdom cannot heal wounds. Wisdom cannot change the human heart. Wisdom cannot add 1 minute to your life or stop the death of someone you love. Wisdom has its limits. If you're banking on your wisdom to save you, you'll end up in the same place, he says. In fact, the pursuit of wisdom is painful, to be honest. Because the more honest you are in your evaluation of life under the sun, the more nauseated you get. I mean, in chapter 1, verse 18, he says very plainly, the greater my wisdom, the greater my grief. To increase knowledge only increases sorrow. He's on to something there. Under the sun, wisdom is to see things the way they really are. Dark, ultimately meaningless, cold. Under the sun, wisdom sees that the world is unfair, that people are unreliable, that the future is uncertain, and that death is inevitable. He's obsessed with death, the writer to Ecclesiastes, obsessed with it. And because of this, he says that under the sun, wisdom leads to despair. When he says in chapter 2, verse 14, the wise can see where they are going, but fools walk in the dark. What he's saying is, if life under the sun is all that there is, then it's better to be a fool, because a fool has no idea that life is meaningless. He's blind. Fools are so busy pursuing and practicing foolery that they're blind to the fact that life under the sun is empty and hopeless. He says the wiser you are, the more knowledgeable you are, the harder things get. Your sorrows increase because you begin to see things as they really are. In fact, he concludes that if this is all there is, wisdom and foolishness are closer than we think. All the hard work it takes to become wise means nothing in the end. After all, if this is all there is, what makes wisdom better than foolishness, he says. And who decides what's wise and what's foolish? In other words, if this is all there is, and death is the end for all of us, then it's foolish to pursue wisdom as your Savior.